Who has the toughest opening 4 games in the Championship this season? I'll give you a clue. Brilliant. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to look at who Opta think has the toughest opening set of games in the Championship. Now, of course, this is a bit of fun before people get annoyed. I said the same at the start of my fixture video I did when I looked at Boro's full fixture list. Of course, fixtures mean absolutely nothing. Anybody can beat anybody. Games aren't won on paper, and there are a lot of variables between now and the start of the season that could change and alter the expectations of any squad here in the Championship. But it is always just fun to take a look at these things, and Opta basically gives every single Championship team a rating on how good they are. They base it off of quality of squad, the number of shots they have, how they perform in games, their efficiency in games, their XG, their goals scored, their XG against possession, all that other stuff. They take in all the data, all the stats, and they basically give every team an average rating. So Sheffield United, for example, are the team in the league with the highest average rating going into this season. Charlton are the one with the lowest, which doesn't really surprise you. So here's Opta's league table or chart of each team's opening 4 and the difficulty of opponent. Now, we'll run through them. Some I agree with, some I don't. Let's just ignore the team at the top for the time being. Starting at the bottom with West Brom, the only side who have a lower average opponent rating that's under 80. Theirs is 79.9, and you can kind of see why. They have Blackburn at home on the opening day, which I think is a tough one. You know, they are 2 potential playoff candidates. They head to Wrexham, and although Wrexham have a low opposition rating, I don't think any game away at a newly promoted side is going to be easy. And I think that can be massively shifted because, in my opinion, when teams come up, especially when you're looking at Wrexham and Birmingham, they were so good last season, they'll carry so much momentum and they'll have such a buzz at home. We saw Oxford do it last season. They made such an advantage of their home form early on, carrying through that momentum. So I don't think an away game at any of the newly promoted sides will be easy. But after that, they've got Pompey at home and Stoke away, so you say fair enough, that's a decent start for West Brom, although I don't think it's the easiest, in my opinion, in the league. We then have 3 teams above them, all on 80, Leicester, QPR and Watford. Leicester, of course, back in the Championship. Lots going on there off the pitch, so they could be massively hindered by stuff off the field that could affect what happens on it. We go to Sheffield Wednesday at home on the opening day, another team that's a bit of a basket case off the pitch right now, so that could really be a bit of a shit-off in terms of what's going on behind the scenes at both teams. They then head to Preston away, which isn't actually that easy, I would say, as is Charlton away. They could be still right up for that if they start the season well, and then Birmingham at home. So to be fair, on paper, yeah, Leicester's games look easy enough, but I don't think Charlton away, and maybe even Preston away, will be as easy as maybe the chart suggests. QPR have Preston at home, Watford away, Cov away and Charlton at home. Again, I don't think Watford or Cov away are as easy games as they look, especially Coventry away, so I don't think that's as easy as it looks. Watford have Charlton away. Again, big banana skin on the opening day for me. QPR at home, Swansea away and Southampton at home. So Swansea away and Southampton at home. Again, they don't look easy to me on paper. That's all I'm saying. Next up we have Southampton and Coventry. They both have ratings of 80.1. Southampton have Wrexham at home. That'll be a belter of an opening game. I think that is opening the Saturday round of fixtures, I believe. I think if it was the other way around, it would look a lot more different for Southampton, but I think at home to Wrexham, I think they'll massively fancy themselves there. However, Ipswich away is a belting second game of the season for Southampton before Stoke and Watford coming up after that. So yeah, that's not too bad. I can see how that is deemed an easy start. However, Ipswich away is certainly not an easy game. Coventry, though, they're the first side whose games I look at and I actually say, yeah, I can see why they're there. All the other teams below them, I think they've actually got tough games in there. But Cov, I think they've had a bit of a result, I'll be honest. Hull at home, who knows what Hull are going to look like this season. Derby away, same for them. You then got QPR at home, Oxford away. Now, again, no game can be taken for granted in the Championship, but I think Cov will be pretty happy with that. And as a team who notably start seasons quite slowly, I think they'll fancy a slightly quicker start this season, to say at the very least. Above them, we've got Sheffield Wednesday. They head to Leicester on the opening day, as we mentioned. That won't be easy. Stoke at home, fair enough, but then Wrexham away. Swansea at home. I would say their 2 home games are winnable. Their 2 away games could be very, very, very difficult. Just above them, you've got Pompey and Ipswich Town. Now, Pompey have to come with the caveat that I think whoever they've got at home, they'll fancy themselves because their home record was so good last season. But they were, on the other hand, massively disappointing on the road. So Oxford away could be a big opener for them. I think against Norwich at home, they'll fancy themselves. West Brom away could be tough for them, though, with Preston at home as well. So that's a mixed bag for Pompey, I would say. Ipswich, though, Birmingham away, Southampton at home. 2 very awkward first games for Ipswich, I've got to say. It does, though, then ease off as they go to Preston and host Derby. So it might be a case of just get what they can in the opening 2, and I think they'll look all right after that. Bristol City are up next. They are level with Stoke on 81. Bristol City have a playoff semi-final repeat away to Sheffield United, which is an interesting fixture. They, of course, got walloped at Sheffield United last season in the playoffs, so that's definitely not going to be an easy game if that's still in the back of their minds. However, Charlton at home, Derby away, Hull at home, I think they're 3 very, very good games for Bristol City, especially the home games. I think they were very good last season at home. They'd expect to be once again. Stoke equally, 81. You don't know what you're going to get from Stoke, if we're honest. But Derby at home, they'll look to start well. Sheffield away could be a decent one as well, depending on what's going on there and the mess that is Sheffield Wednesday at the minute. But then Southampton away and West Brom at home could prove to be tough. So Stoke, I would say, get what you can in the opening 2 games before the next 2 that come up after that. Charlton and Blackburn are next on 81.2. Charlton back in the Championship. Of course, it's great to see them. They have Watford at home. They'll fancy that, I would say. But Bristol City away, Leicester at home, and QPR away all look difficult to me, especially Bristol City away, Leicester at home. Yeah, tough games for Charlton there, so I can see why. The fixtures are starting to get a little bit tougher now. Blackburn equally, 82 as I say. West Brom away won't be easy. Birmingham at home could be an awkward one before going to Hull and hosting Norwich. I think only maybe Hull away is a guaranteed victory for them in that list. We then jump up to 81.4. Oxford United are next. They host Pompey on the opening day. They'll be looking forward to making the most of their home form this season again. That's a good start for them. Hull away is not bad either, if I'm honest. So I think Oxford's opening 2 ain't bad. They then, of course, they'll have to go to Birmingham before hosting Cov. So, yeah, another team who maybe have to make the most of their opening 2 games. They definitely get tougher after that. We then have Hull and Wrexham on 81.5, as well as Norwich, actually. Hull go to Coventry on the opening day. That won't be easy. Oxford at home could be a big game for them before Blackburn come to the MKM, and then they head to Bristol City. So that's not an easy opening 4 for me. I think Hull certainly have to get something from them 2 home games, as they've got 2 former playoff sides from last season on the road. Not easy at all. Wrexham then, one of the more intriguing sides this season, of course. Have a tough start, you'd have to say. Southampton away, not easy. West Brom at home, as I said earlier, all the newly promoted sides will definitely fancy themselves from home, and it's a very, very tough game for West Brom to go into down at Wrexham's ground, so I think they'll fancy themselves at home. Same with Sheffield Wednesday. I think that's a great home game for Wrexham to have as well before going to Millwall. So honestly, even though the teams and the opposition ratings are quite high, I think Wrexham will be quite happy with that. I think West Brom and Sheffield Wednesday, they'll lick their lips. Millwall away, I don't know. Southampton away, very tough, but I think they can certainly pick up points at home. Norwich next. They have Millwall at home. Portsmouth away. Boro at home. Blackburn away. They are all, I would say, games that are very, very awkward. And that's the first mention of Boro. That's quite telling, isn't it? We're getting to the top end of the average ratings and the top end of the fixture difficulty, and that's the first mention of Boro. That tells you everything you need to know, doesn't it? Then move up to 81.6. Millwall are up next. They have Norwich away, Boro at home, of course, before going to Sheffield United and hosting Wrexham. None of them games are easy for me. Again, they might want to really lean on their home games with Boro and Wrexham coming to town, but their away games are very, very difficult as well. And then we jump up to Preston and Birmingham and Sheffield United. And Preston, for me, take out the average ratings, I think they have the toughest opening 4 so far, I would say. QPR away could be awkward. Leicester and Ipswich at home, ouch, two really, really tough home games for Preston there before going to Pompey, who were very, very good at Fratton Park. So if Preston don't get anything at QPR, they could honestly go pointless in their opening four. That is not a nice opening four games at all for Preston North End. Birmingham are up next, of course. They've come up at a canter, smashing the League One points record. Very, very good at home as well. Ipswich at home's a belter for them to open with. That'll be a tough game for Ipswich and a great opening one on Friday night. I can't wait for that. Blackburn away, though, could be a reality check. That's an awkward one. Oxford at home, though. Leicester away. I think overall Birmingham will definitely look at the Oxford game as one to get 3 points and probably catching Ipswich cold on the opening day. But Blackburn away and Leicester away especially aren't easy, so I take that. Sheffield United, 81.8 as well. Bristol City at home. I don't think that's as tough as it looks. I think they'll fancy that one definitely. Swansea away, Millwall at home and Boro away. Honestly, on paper, I don't think that's too bad for Sheffield United. I think Swansea away and Millwall at home aren't bad games. Bristol City at home as well, they'll fancy it. Maybe Boro away could be the tougher trip. Of course, they did lose up here at the Riverside last season. In the top three then, Derby County with an average opposition rating of 82. They go to Stoke on the opening day. Again, tough away trip, but they've got Cov, Bristol City and Ipswich. 2 home games, okay, they're at home, but Cov and Bristol City will not be easy at all. Ipswich away is extremely tough. We then jump up to 82.1. Swansea are second. They've got Boro on the opening day, of course. Sheffield United at home, Watford at home and Sheffield Wednesday away. I don't think they're as bad as what the table suggests, if I'm honest. I think Boro away, yeah, potentially a tough game. They lost at home, away from home to us on the opening day last season, but there's a lot of question marks around Boro and how we're going to set up. But I think out of the 4, I'd say only Sheffield United at home is remotely tough, but honestly, you don't know what state Sheffield United are going to be in either, so I don't think that is anywhere near as bad as what it looks for Swansea. And with Sheffield Wednesday being a bit of a mess, I don't think they should be second at all. I think that is nowhere near as bad for for Swansea City as it looks. Then we finish, of course, top of the league. It might be the only league we finish top of this season. Boro. We've got, statistically, according to Opta, the toughest start to the season. Brilliant. In what I think Rob Edwards needs an easy start, I think, just to make sure things stay nice and calm. But we've not been handed one, according to Opta. I think Swansea at home's not bad. You know, we beat them last season at home. I don't think that's too bad, if I'm honest. Millwall away, though, yeah. Opening day or opening home game at the Den, I think it's a very tough proposition for anyone, and we did lose there last season, so that will be difficult. Norwich away, though, a bit of an enigma. We don't know what they'll be like under Liam Manning. We went there last season, played them off the park. Should have won, of course, but it's going to be a very different Boro team and probably a very different Norwich team as well. So it's impossible to know exactly what is going to come of that away game either before Sheffield United at home, which is also a bit of an unknown quantity, but I can see why on paper that's going to be a tough game. So again, do Boro's 4 warrant being top of the league, the worst opening games? I don't think so. Honestly, I think Derby probably have a tougher opening 4 games than us. And Swansea, to be fair. Sheffield United maybe is tough. Birmingham, you could say a little bit. I think Preston undoubtedly have a tough first 4. So, yeah, for me, there can be question marks over this chart. And of course, I know there'll be people in the comments calling it nonsense. It is a lot of fun, but I do think it is a good way to look at every side's opening 4 to see who really does have a tough opening 4. And for me, I'm looking at Preston, I'm looking at Derby, and I'm thinking, yeah, you've got a tough opening 4. Maybe Millwall as well. But yeah, that's the opening 4 games. It feels like now the fixtures are out, the season can really get going. So let me know your thoughts on your team's opening 4 fixtures in the comments, and if you agree with the chart, and if you do think your team either have a really generous opening 4 games or a really tough opening 4 games. And it is worthy just scrolling down. I won't go through this table in full, but they've done the same for the opening 9 games. Now, the averages, of course, level out a lot more with more variety of teams, but Swansea still have the toughest opening 9 according to Opta. I'm delighted to see Boro have dropped to 4th, at least in this chart. But yeah, that's an interesting chart on screen if you want to pause and read that to see where your team is in terms of the opening 9 League games. I know there's a lot of people out there that find stats nonsense, but there's a lot of people like me that really, really love stats as well who might be interested in that. But I'll put a link to this article on Opta's website in the description if you want to read more. But until next time, guys, if you've enjoyed the video, do hit a like on the video, subscribe for more Championship and Boro related content as the season does start to come over the horizon now. But until next time, guys, do take care, and I'll see you all in the